this U.S. laser aircraft carrier is ready to beat China. The art of taking off and landing airplanes from ships in the sea started back in 1910 when Eugene Burton Ely took off in his plane from the deck of a U.S. Navy ship and a few months later successfully landed his plane on the deck of another ship. This led to the ever-evolving technology and engineering of aircraft carriers. Nations today are competing to get their hands on the biggest aircraft carriers that may strengthen their air forces. And recently, the United States has come up with some breathtaking technologies in the field of aircraft carriers and is just ready to beat China. To find out more, keep watching this video. A displacement of 100,000 tons, a price tag of $13 billion, 25-year time frame with no need to refuel. This U.S. laser aircraft carrier is just ready to beat China. News is always circulating about a war between the U.S. and China approaching. Recently, some secret Chinese spy balloon was seen in U.S. airspace and was accused of spying. Now, China has been found to be using full-size models of U.S. aircraft carriers for target practicing somewhere in Taklamakan Desert of northwestern China. These target practices were proof of the effectiveness of Chinese hypersonic missiles against American supercarriers. For instance, the USS Gerald Ford supercarrier, with a displacement of 100,000 tons and $13 billion U.S. price tag, is the world's most expensive, most frightening, and the most deadly aircraft carrier that has ever been built. This massive aircraft carrier carries more air power than at least 60 countries. This aircraft carrier can run without the need for refueling for up to 25 years. It is protected for imminent threats by a limitless inventory of defenses that have been built in this carrier. Moreover, a fleet of cruisers, destroyers, frigates, and submarines are also there to defend it. All of this, but still, if Chinese hypersonic missiles possessed even half the power as reported, the USS Gerald Ford would be destroyed in a single strike. In order to defend their fleet against any possible strike by Chinese hypersonic missiles, the U.S. Navy is working day and night and has spent millions of dollars to build a weapon that is even faster than the Chinese hypersonic missiles. We are talking about a laser weapon that can make the hypersonic missiles look slow. This laser weapon has been developed in such a way that it can be mounted on this aircraft carrier or even other U.S. Navy ships. This is America's response to China. It is no secret that over the last few years, tensions have been rising between the United States and China. A big reason for this has been China's obsession to absorb Taiwan into its own territory, and the U.S.'s continuous wish that Taiwan remains a free country. The U.S. President Joe Biden has been very active at that front. In December 2022, a defense spending bill was signed by Biden, which included up to $10 billion in assistance to Taiwan. China, in addition to Taiwan, also claims sovereignty over almost all the South China Sea, spreading out thousands of miles from its own shores. However, the international law about water territory, which is enforced by the U.S., recognizes territorial claims of only 12 nautical miles offshore. These marine territory lines are highly disputed, and it seems as if the America's naval presence is the only reason that China is not taking a more fiery aim at foreign movements in these waters. U.S. President Joe Biden made it very clear America will intervene if China goes for an unprovoked attack on the allies of the U.S. But perhaps the biggest American rebel against Chinese claims is former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's recent visit to Taiwan, regardless of China's discontent. As a response, during this visit, China fired a DF-17 missile only 75 miles away from Taiwan. China called it a test, but outside China's maritime border, it was considered more of a message and a reminder of what China's military capabilities had grown into. The 33,000-pound weighing and 36 feet long DF-17 missile that was fired by China is a hypersonic missile that has undergone tests for 7 times with 100% success. This missile possesses a range of 1,600 miles, a flight ceiling of 197,000 feet, and like a true hypersonic missile, can maneuver throughout its flight to escape air defenses. China also possesses the Xingkang-2 Wave Rider hypersonic missile, which can reach a maximum range of 6,200 miles and a flight ceiling of 98,000 feet. Moreover, it has a top speed of over Mach 6. Due to these two missiles, China's only competitor in regards to hypersonic missile technology remains Russia, possessing 3 M22 Zircon, having a top speed of Mach 9. KH-47M2 Kinsall, which is a top speed of Mach 12, and Avant-Garde, which is a top speed of Mach 27. As a matter of fact, Russia became the first country to use a hypersonic missile when it fired a KH-47M2 Kinsall at a target in Ukraine during the conflict in 2022. Before we move ahead, kindly like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. China and Russia have clearly initiated the space for hypersonic missiles. Their new modern weapons have left the United States weapons in the dust. A possible reason for this could be that the US is a lot more focused on laser-directed energy weapons as compared to hypersonic missiles. Although China has already developed its 30-kilowatt LW-30 laser weapon to a level where it can easily counter drones, low-flying aircrafts, and missiles, the US remains non-pareil when it comes to the laser weapon technology because of its decades of a head start. The US Navy has already tested and approved a laser weapon that is 400 times more powerful than the one China has. This weapon is the high-energy laser with optical dazzler and surveillance, or Helios for short. As for now, this weapon is deployed to counter the widest range of threats from the deck of the USS Preble destroyer. Helios is a 60 to 120 kilowatt high-energy laser weapon, which was developed by Lockheed Martin, whose experience of 40 years in directed energy did not go unnoticed by the Navy. In 2018, the order for development of Helios was issued, which amounted to $150 million. The weapon was ready for testing, installation, and trials by 2022. This weapon was mounted on the Burt-class destroyer USS Preble, replacing a 20mm Vulcan cannon, armed Mk-15 Phalanx closed-in weapon system on the frontal section of the ship. After the completion of installation, $19 trillion testing and trials were next. From its position on the ship, Helios would respond to unmanned aerial systems and small boats from more than a distance of 5 miles. Such targets, especially when working in groups, are too major to ignore, but too cheap to terminate using much more expensive million-dollar American missiles. However, like every laser weapon, Helios has a low cost of working. It has been reported that it can operate at a price range of a cup of coffee. This feat has tilted the balance back in the favor of the US. In addition to low-cost operability, Helios fires a laser which is a form of light and will strike its targets at a speed of 186,000 miles per second. This means that no drone, projectile, hypersonic missile, or fighter jet could outrun it. But that's not all that Helios does. It doesn't only grill a target till it crashes, but can also be used as a dazzler that obscures enemy spying and attacks by making the sensors blind and confusing missiles. In addition to this, Helios can also be used as a tool to support long-range surveillance, intelligence, and reconnaissance. The sensors of Helios will be part of Aegis, which is an integrated weapon system. It is the most modern surface combat system possessed by the Navy. It can provide a lot of information to the decision-makers to make well-calculated decisions and find the best solutions. All of this enhances the chances of survival of ships that have Helios, whether it be the USS Preble, other Burt-class destroyers, or aircraft carriers like the USS Gerald Ford. The US Navy cannot afford to lose the USS Gerald Ford, as it is one of the most important carriers strategically and is also really expensive to lose. Losing it would be just like losing an entire city with aircrafts that cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and above all the lives of 4,539 people on board. Hence, it is necessary that this supercarrier be defended using weapon systems that are errorless and cannot be outrun by enemies' weapons. Helios fits in all these criteria and is a strong candidate for laser-based defense of the USS Gerald Ford. However, it is speculated that although Helios can destroy a wide range of targets, hypersonic missiles which are crafted to withstand a temperature of over 1,000 degrees are immune to Helios. Therefore, a new laser energy weapon is being developed by the Navy. A high-energy laser counter, or ASCM program, is undergoing, in which a 300-kilowatt laser will be developed that will be at least 2 times as powerful as Helios. Another megawatt laser is also being developed by Northrop Grumman. These are all the signs for a future in which aircraft carriers as well as other ships will be defended using laser weapons, and any fear of hypersonic missiles will be evaporated. This development will answer a big question: what is better, the hypersonic missile or laser weapons? Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let us know your thoughts about today's video in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more interesting videos.